Every day, the weight presses down harder. The relentless pull of expectations, the invisible chains of legacy that feel more like shackles than foundations. It's brutal. It's suffocating. The question that haunts every founder, every investor, every leader who dares to push beyond the safe borders of what's been done is this: why does legacy, the very thing meant to empower and inspire, sometimes feel like it's dragging everything down? Like it's standing in the way of real movement, real change, real disruption? There's something almost tragic at play here. Legacy was supposed to be fuel, a fire handed down to ignite new flames, to burn brighter, faster, and bolder. Instead, for so many, it's been a slow, cold ash, choking innovation, demanding sacrifice without reward, binding new visionaries to old maps that lead nowhere. Imagine sitting there, staring at the stories you inherited, your family's wealth, reputation, values, all carved in stone by the generations before you. They built something enormous. They dreamed big, fought hard, sacrificed. But now those same stone walls feel like a cage. There's a pressure so raw it claws at your soul. The pressure to preserve, to protect, to never stray from the path that's been laid out. But deep down, you know something. What built yesterday won't build tomorrow. You're staring at a world that's unforgiving, tearing apart previously unshakable industries at a pace that feels like disaster and opportunity in the same breath. What's the cost of legacy when it blocks disruption? When it consumes your days with endless fear of ruining what was given, instead of lighting the way to what could be? It steals your confidence. It buries your boldness under layers of tradition and expectation. You find yourself asking, obsessively, how can this all be protected? When what you really need to ask is, how can this be transformed? Because disruption isn't the enemy of legacy. Disruption is the salvation of it. The problem isn't the past. The real enemy is the paralysis we're trapped in because of it. Look closely. There's a silent scream beneath every elegant dinner table, every boardroom meeting, every pane of glass separating wealth from the wild chaos of creation. Founders like you, investors like you, leaders like you, they all wrestle with this silence. The world tells you to nurture tradition, to guard wealth, to protect family names. But no one tells you how to shred those rules when the old ones no longer fit. Everyone fears the fallout. Everyone fears the risk. But the true tragedy? To stand still is death. Legacy left unused, unadapted, unloved is no legacy at all. It's a curse disguised in the past's glory. But what if legacy could be your rebel weapon? What if the wealth, the history, the networks you inherited weren't anchors, but jet fuel? What if the fire that's been sitting dormant could explode into the very disruption the future demands? That's not just wishful thinking. That's the secret no one's daring to shout loud enough. The power lies exactly in that tension, between honoring what came before and tearing it apart to make way for what's next. The founders of tomorrow, the investors hungry for meaning beyond numbers, the leaders refusing to settle for good enough, they are the ones who refuse to bow to the comfortable illusion of preservation. They are the ones who see legacy not as a cage, but as a starting line. Here's the brutal truth that's hidden in plain sight. The system was never built for you. It was designed to serve the many, not the few who burn with a restless fire. It offers rules dressed as freedom, templates disguised as opportunity, and comfort packaged as success. You don't need another puzzle piece fitting neatly into someone else's picture. You need to break the puzzle. You need to redraw the map. That's why what's happening in the shadows, beyond the mainstream, beyond the safe bets, is more important than ever. The game doesn't shift from the center. Real change comes from the edges, from those rare individuals willing to risk, question, and destroy to rebuild. But here's the catch. You cannot do this alone. This is not a solo journey of grit and genius anymore. The greatest missing link isn't capital or ideas. It's connection. It's finding other rare minds who see the world as you do, who feel the unbearable weight, but refuse to let it break them. The misunderstood few. The rebels, the founders, the visionaries, are scattered like stars across a dark sky, bursting with potential but isolated, hunting for other sparks to ignite with. Without connection, brilliance wastes itself. Without allies, power fragments into noise instead of resonant force. So the most powerful move you can make right now is to shift the question from how to protect what I have to how to connect, collaborate, transform. Because disruption fueled by legacy is not a solo act. It's an ecosystem of fiery individuals weaving together their strengths, their differences, their visions. It's brutal synergy. It's brutal honesty. It's moving with ruthless patience while burning with urgency. It's the refusal to accept the comfortable lie that you must choose between your past and your future. Here's a secret hardly whispered. True freedom demands sovereignty of mind and will. If you want to break the chains, first you have to take your will back, completely. No half measures. No compromises in the middle. Your will is your weapon. Every doubt, every fear that stops you from challenging the status quo is a battle lost before it even began. So fight soundly, fight fiercely, but above all, fight with clarity of purpose. Question everything you thought you knew about success, about wealth, about what it means to leave a mark. Not everything handed down is worth keeping. Not every tradition deserves protection. In fact, sometimes smashing the old guard is the most loving thing you can do for your legacy. Transformation isn't just about change. It's about unlearning. It's about walking past every comfort zone you've built a fortress around, tearing down the illusions that the world, your family, your reputation sold you. It's brutal work, often lonely, often terrifying. But only through this chaos can you create something authentic, something so true to your vision, it becomes unstoppable. You don't have to imitate the past. You don't have to fit the mold. The next chapter isn't written by the rules of yesterday. It's scribbled, shouted, and sculpted by the few who dare to be different. The few who choose disruption over disillusionment. That's why finding your tribe matters. The people who burn like you do, who reject the noise and amplify essence. Align not with the many, but with the few who have the courage to challenge legacy and build new structures from it. Think less of growing a crowd and more about deepening ties with the rare. These connections will become your lifeline, your sounding board, your battlefield allies. Together, you'll create an ecosystem where rare ideas are not tamed but unleashed, where misunderstood brilliance finds root and rises. Because the power of legacy unleashed is exponential when it's shared, multiplied, and redefined by the collective will of those refusing to settle. And patience. Don't underestimate it. True disruption, especially when layered with the weight of greatness that preceded you, takes time. Not the fleeting seconds of viral sensation or quick wins disguised as success. We're talking about long game moves that require ruthless persistence, where every sacrifice and every small win logos build a future no one else can fathom. Eternity favors those who burn slow and strong, those who refuse the easy path of comfort and conformity. So now is the moment to own your legacy, not as a burden, but as a battlefield. To refuse silence even when it crushes inside you. To stop waiting for permission that will never come. You are never here to live someone else's dream safely. You are here to blow open walls, to break old rules, to bring fire where all they told you was cold ash. The world can't hold the exceptional, not because you lack power, but because it lacks infrastructure. So create your infrastructure. Build your network. Connect your brilliance with others who dare. This is not a call for the comfortable or the cautious. It's a lightning strike for those who burn, who itch, who know that this life is short and waiting is a lie. Legacy is not the end. It's your launch pad. Set it on fire. Ignite your disruption. Because in this fire, the true revolution begins. Not of the system, but of the individual, rising above it all. Every moment you hesitate, that fire dims. Every moment you lean into that legacy with fear, you feed the very chains you need to break. But when you rise, when you choose transformation, connection, sovereignty, you become the rare signal in a world craving light. You become the spark that forever changes the game. proving that legacy is not just history to be preserved, it's power waiting to be unleashed. And once ignited, nothing will ever be the same again.